Hello and welcome to our presentation regarding the applications of virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. We will begin this presentation by discussing the role of virtual reality in media and productivity, as well as its healthcare applications, industrial applications, and business applications. We will end this discussion by explaining just how this topic ties into discrete mathematics. Virtual reality, first and foremost, immerses its user and allows them to interact with three-dimensional visuals. Various applications attempt to immerse the user in a fully digital environment through various methods. These methods include goggles, gloves, and full body suits. Goggles are often worn to provide a sense of visual feedback to the user, allowing them to see the visuals of the virtual world and look in various directions with head tracking. Gloves allow for haptic feedback, which allow the user to manipulate digital objects. Full body suits are an extreme version of this, where it can be worn and provide haptic feedback to one's entire body. The purpose of this immersion is to create the illusion that you are in the digital environment. As can be seen on the right, this individual is using an omnidirectional treadmill, which is just one more method of immersion. This treadmill allows one to walk in any direction and have this reflected in the digital environment. Because the immersion that virtual reality provides, it has gained immense popularity in the gaming industry. Through immersing the user in the game world, users can interact with it in ways never before possible. Virtual reality allows the user freedom to move about in the game environment and interact with objects within it. As can be seen on the right, this user is geared in various equipment to make their game experience more immersive. The metaverse is an extension of this immersion. It is a digital world in which people can communicate and interact. The metaverse is not a new concept, but it has recently been made possible by virtual reality related technologies. The goal of the metaverse is to bridge the gap between reality and digital reality. This will fundamentally change the way that people interact, much in the same way that the internet has. This is a new technology and it is being pushed by big players such as Facebook, which is now known as Meta. Additionally, virtual reality can also enhance a user's productivity. Virtual reality has the capability to project any sort of content to the user without the need for additional hardware like a monitor. In the case of Steam's virtual desktop, a user can have any number of virtual monitors that they please, allowing for a much lower cost and much higher productivity output that one would expect from a multi-monitor setup. In a world where wireless mixed reality headsets are popularized, this capability can be offered on the go and in any place a user might need access. Additionally, the capability to simulate in-person meetings through the use of avatars can allow a user to effectively work from home while still feeling like they are working as a team. As a result of this, many businesses incorporate virtual reality to do just this, as will be seen throughout the rest of the presentation.
My name is Justin Hanna. Today we're going to be talking about medical VR. Everyone knows the basics of virtual reality, but did you know that VR is actually helping save thousands of lives? Medical VR is a brand new field with fascinating and countless amounts of possibilities. VR has not only moved the imaginations of science fiction fans, but medical practitioners alike. With the help of VR, it's now possible to create scenarios never thought imaginable. You can travel to Mars in the blink of an eye, or travel 20,000 leagues under the sea and fight the giant squid. Perhaps one of the greatest prospects of VR is completely remote surgeries. Although it may not seem it at first, medical VR has countless amounts of practical medical uses, and quite astonishing ones at that. Virtual reality is starting to become the gold standard in the medical field. This is most prevalent especially in surgeries. Surgeons use tools such as VR headsets and special gloves designed to simulate a real-life surgery. VR surgery is helping medical practitioners boost preparedness and the overall efficiency that is needed in the operating room during intense and life-threatening surgeries. We're all familiar with how much of a drag conferences or meetings can be, but through virtual reality, doctors, all throughout their busy workday, are able to go to meetings and conferences in the blink of an eye without having to travel anywhere. VR conferences serve as a better means to save time and increase efficiency in the workplace. But not only does this save time and efficiency, but it also can increase the amount of patients a doctor can see at any given day or period of time. Now, I previously mentioned that VR can help save lives. Now, I still haven't really answered that question. How does VR save lives? Well, there are honestly countless amounts of ways that VR can save lives in the medical industry, but here are just a handful. VR surgery through training, VR patient interaction training, training for emergency situations, and cardiac life support training. These are just a handful of situations in where VR training alone can save thousands and thousands of lives. By putting these doctors and medical practitioners in these situations firsthand through virtual reality, they're better prepared in the future for these events. The ability to view inside of a human body has never really been done efficiently before, but through VR, people and medical practitioners are able to get a first-hand view of the inside of a human body, whether through transforming to the tiny size of one cell, to actually training to look inside of a human body and see any cause of an ailment or any sort of issue a patient is dealing with. Students at the University of Buffalo have been among the first to use this technology. They actually learned about the human body by transforming, like I previously said, into the size of a blood cell, and were able to learn the different functions of organs such as a heart, liver, spleen, nervous system, all through virtual reality. When it comes to virtual reality, there's no better way to stay engaged and true to your routine than through virtual reality. Physical therapy is something that many people that have to do it dread. But through virtual reality, this process becomes fun, entertaining, and enjoyable. Although the rehabilitation process is long and strenuous, VR can help you get through it. VR physical therapy can be especially helpful for people with neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, or a spinal cord injury, just to name a few. A new study shows that VR is not only beneficial to our physical health, but our mental health as well. This new wave of research is pioneering VR to be able to treat mental disorders, anywhere from the range of chronic pain to disorders such as Alzheimer's and even ones as serious as depression. Most of these solutions are still in the testing phase, but therapists are very helpful and are already putting them to use in some situations. Everyone knows what PTSD is, but even so, there's been no groundbreaking discoveries or even research treatments to help fight this disorder. On average, 20 veterans a day commit suicide from PTSD-related trauma. That adds up to being about 7,300 PTSD-related suicides in veterans every single year. Using VR exposure treatment, a person, such as a veteran, is able to come face to face with what truly started their trauma. For example, a veteran of war could be placed in a war scenario through VR without actually having to go into war and being in a safe environment. After a study that was conducted on PTSD and veterans from Vietnam, most soldiers saw a large reduction in the amount of symptoms they experienced per day. Currently, VR is being used in many hospitals to have surgeries be overseen and remotely viewed by other surgeons and medical practitioners alike. In the future, surgery will be able to happen without anybody even being there. Through robotics as well as virtual reality innovations, This will be
Alright, hello, my name is Benjamin Sutton, and I'm going to be covering the topic of industrial applications of augmented reality in particular. On the first slide here, we can see a gentleman wearing a Microsoft HoloLens. This device is an augmented reality headset. Augmented reality is used to kind of mix the real world with the virtual world. So here we can see that he's looking at a virtual model of what appears to be some sort of turbine, or turbo, more specifically, particularly for an automobile. But this gives a good visual representation of what augmented reality is and how it's used in design and development for products. So in the next slide here, we're going to take a look at product design and development. So a couple benefits of product design and development using augmented reality are contextual visualization. So similar to the photo that we just looked at, you get a full visualization of a product concept, which can be extremely beneficial when looking at the design of, different parts of maybe one singular product. Another benefit is global collaboration. So teams around the world can look at the same exact concepts or products using augmented reality headsets and augmented reality models without the need to develop prototypes in each individual location. It gives you that sort of hands-on experience without having a physical product there. So if you have multiple teams across the globe that are developing a certain project, each of them can contribute to it and look at it, simultaneously without the need for any additional delays that would be, usually associated with actually producing a physical product. So, full-scale product representation is another benefit of using augmented reality for product design and development. So full 3D modeling of production models basically gives people the ability to look at the model prior to actually manufacturing it. Manufacturing can be a pretty expensive and extensive process, and this allows for the ability to basically visualize it wholly before you actually go into production. So you might be able to catch any mistakes that might have been made or make any tweaks that you might want to make. A lot of the times you can actually run, demos as well of these products to see if there might be any flaws or any problems that might be caused by, the way that it's been designed. So giving you a full 360-degree view of the product as a whole and the individual parts of the product is typically very beneficial. We're going to move to the next slide here. The next slide is going to go over like digital instructions within industrial workspaces. So maintenance and repair, they use augmented reality in the maintenance and repair division to get a detailed view of repair instructions. These instructions can be displayed on the augmented reality headset with certain wires or certain parts being labeled for whoever's repairing it, so that they can get a good visual representation of what they're working with. Another benefit in that regard is informational clarity. So very clear and concise instructions right there in the heads-up display. Interactive instructions, so as they move on, and progress through the actual repair and go step by step, they can interact with that experience and move through the process with a good workflow. Another benefit there is efficiency of reference. So basically just no more pen and paper, no more instruction booklets that you have to look over to, and then look back to what you're doing, and then back to the instructions, and then back to what you're doing. Everything's displayed right there, and you can progress more naturally through the repair steps while still having a good view of what needs to be done and making sure that you're not missing anything. We're going to jump to the third slide here. The third slide is going to go over safety. So augmented reality is often used for safety procedures in industrial workplaces. They often use it for like analyzation of safety regulations. So basically giving an overview of a certain product that might exceed a temperature that it's safe to handle. So if a product's too hot to touch, then it can warn the user beforehand so that they don't have to, naturally take the risk of getting near that object. Product angles for scaffolding, and even more uses for, safety regulations. But it's also used in safety training. So if people are, training on a job site and they're, working in the, engineering field or the repair field, often they'll use augmented reality as sort of a training tool to display images that can be used for reference or informational text, relating to the procedure that they are completing at that point in time. And it allows for basically just a more seamless experience for the person who is training, allows them to, not disrupt their workflow or their training flow while also having that benefit, almost as if somebody was standing right behind you and telling you what to do, but on a next level step, because they've got the information right in front of them. They've got images that they can see of the repair procedures or the engineering procedures, and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty good recap of industrial applications of augmented reality. Thank you for listening.
Virtual reality in businesses is emerging and advancing every day. Companies are using VR to better design and visualize their products in better and more advanced ways. Virtual reality is also allowing consumers of the businesses to have real-life experiences in a virtual world and allowing them to test and preview products in a more efficient way. For the following, I will be going over some uses of virtual reality in businesses. To start off, vehicle manufacturers use this technology to their advantage. Virtual reality and vehicle manufacturers such as Mercedes, BMW, and Infiniti all have a 360-degree view on the vehicle on their website, which would allow consumers to view the vehicle inside and out as they would in person. Volkswagen also uses VR to help design vehicles by allowing workers to collaborate on designs remotely. Such applications give designers and engineers a real-world experience where they can test the design. Ford uses virtual reality to cut costs and time spent on manufacturing process to ensure it is done in the most efficient way. Virtual reality allows the company to use tools such as the Gravity Sketch tool, which creates a 3D sketch of a vehicle within hours rather than long periods of time, such as days and weeks. Moving on with retail online shopping, we can get a great example from the company IKEA, which uses virtual reality to help consumers have a better and more reliable purchase. It allows consumers to experience products in a virtual, real-world scenario to give them a better sense on the product. An example would include IKEA's Reality Kitchen experience, which is a 3D rendered view of multiple products straight from the company, which allows consumers to view on their smart devices as if they were actually in the store. There is another application which provides a great use of the technology, which is the retail online shopping application GOAT, which uses augmented reality to test on sneakers in the most precise way to see how the shoe will fit and appear on your feet, which again allows consumers to have a better sense of what they are purchasing. Then there is virtual reality in engineering and manufacturing, where engineers also use virtual reality to create prototypes for many engineering and manufacturing projects. Engineers use 3D modeling tools to view their projects in 3D, which allows them to gain a better understanding on the project and have ways to catch any safety risk or flaws. This also cuts costs and time spent, since engineering projects can get very costly and can take plenty of time. An example of virtual reality used in engineering would be with the Airbus or airplanes, where a virtual reality can be used to create a virtual experience, allowing engineers to check components of the aircraft and safety standards, all while saving costs before the manufacturing process. The last subtopic of virtual reality in business will be in marketing and advertising. Virtual reality in marketing and advertising allows companies to create a 360-degree video to promote services and products. This allows consumers to interact with the product and services that encourage them to engage with the company's product. And to conclude, I'd like to also add that due to a pandemic and social distancing, businesses have advanced and progressed gradually for valued customers and manufacturers to have the convenience of having such tools to purchase and work remotely. And while this is only a brief view on virtual reality in businesses, there are much more uses that are advancing daily.
You may be wondering exactly how virtual reality ties into discrete mathematics. On a fundamental level, virtual reality relies on computation to deliver the desired content to its users. Computers use logic to perform these calculations, and in various coded applications, the logical operations OR and AND are vastly important to ensure functionality. Knowing that the various devices required for virtual reality to function require electricity, they employ the use of circuits to function.